Hey everybody, it's Steve. Welcome back. Today is part 3 of our Philips automatic lock series. Today we're going to talk about the Philips Home Access app, which will allow you to control your lock, including locking, unlocking, setting pins, and so forth, all from your mobile device. We're also going to talk about the Philips Wi-Fi features and how to set that up. Luckily, believe it or not, these are things that even I can do. Alright, let's get started. The first thing you need to do is to download the Philips Home Access app onto your mobile device. I'll put a QR code on the screen so you can get to that quickly. Here it is. Okay, once you have the app downloaded, the first thing you'll need to do is to set up an account. So go ahead and click on the Create Account button there. Now, of course, if you already have an account, you can just log in as normal. But if you don't, first of all, enter your email address. Then create a password and enter that. And next you'll need a code. So go ahead and click Get Code. Check your email. A code will be sent to you, and then you can enter that here. And once you've done that, say that you agree to the service agreement and the privacy policy, and then click Create. Okay, before we move on, let me just talk about one thing, and that's when you forget your password. So you can go to the main screen here, and there is a button to say Forgot Password. So if you click that, it'll take you to a screen to enter some information. Now, obviously, it wants your email address. You'll know that. And then it wants you to get a code. So go ahead and click Get Code. It'll email the code to your email address, and then you can come back to your app and enter that code. But at the same time, you need to put in your new password. So there's a blank box here that says password. I tried this multiple times. I thought they were looking for the password that I had or didn't have, couldn't remember. So anyway, I finally figured out, I just want you to put in whatever you're going to be using for your new password. So enter that in there and then hit complete, and that should get you back in business. Okay, if you're ready to start programming your lock using your app, go ahead and log into the app. So we'll go ahead and punch in our username and password here. And we are now logged in. All right, if you're trying to use the app and for some reason you get an error or something's just not working quite right, it might be that you're not within Bluetooth range, so make sure that you are. And if you are within Bluetooth range like I am right now, but something still isn't working, you might need to wake up the connection. To do that, just lock or unlock the door, and then you should be okay. Once you've logged in, click on Home, and you should see a screen that looks like this where it just says Add Device, unless you've already entered other devices into the system. But let's just assume you're starting fresh. This is your first device. It should say Add Device, so go ahead and click Add Device. And then it wants you to scan the QR code for the device. Now, where is that QR code? Well, in this case, you're going to remove the door from your battery compartment, and on the back you'll see the QR code sticker, and go ahead and scan that. And it should find it, and you should be ready to say that you've installed the device. And next, it wants you to power up the device. Now, as you can see, I already have all the batteries in there, so it's ready to go. If you don't have all the batteries in, you need to start it up. Go ahead and put those batteries in now. It also suggests that you reset the system back to the factory defaults. Now, I didn't do that because I wanted to keep my fingerprints and my PIN codes. But if you want to just clear the device out, back to scratch, go ahead and do that. And you do that by placing the 4th battery in while simultaneously pressing this little button right here. So do that. That sets everything back to scratch. All right, in the meantime, I will click Next, and it now asks if I completed the setup, so I'll check that and say Next, and it's trying to pair the device using Bluetooth. Now, I'm close enough, so this should work, but if you weren't sitting near the device and you're not within Bluetooth range, it may not work. You may get an error, so make sure that you are close enough. So the next thing it wants is for you to enter the master code. That's the master PIN code. Now, if you reset everything back to 0, the master PIN code will be back to the default, and the default, as you can see in the instructions, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's what you would enter. If you've previously followed my videos and programmed the new master PIN code on the outside using the keypad, then you're going to enter that code. So I've made a note here what my code is, so I'll go ahead and enter that. And once you've entered it, press Confirm. And connection succeeded. So we'll hit next. And now it wants you to enter a PIN code. So that's the PIN code that's going to unlock the door. So I will go ahead and enter, let's say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can be any number from 4 to 10 characters. I'll enter that and push done and create. All right, next it wants us to name the device. So you can just click one of the names down here, like front door or back door, by pushing the corresponding button, or you can put in your custom name. So for example, I'm going to put Steve's door and then hit complete. And there we go. Steve's door is now one of the options on our main screen. Okay, we have our lock now in our app, so let's go ahead and give it a try. So we'll open up our phone and get to the Home Access app, and there's our door lock listed, Steve's door. All right, so let's tap on Steve's door, and there is our lock, and it gives you information about the lock. It's currently locked, and it tells you how much battery strength you have left. So if you want to unlock the door, all you have to do is tap. You want to lock the door, tap. Okay, now this works because we are close. It's Bluetooth technology, so it's going from the Bluetooth from your phone to the lock. If you are at the office or at school, it's not going to work. You need Wi-Fi for that. This particular lock setup does not have Wi-Fi built in, so we needed a Wi-Fi bridge, which we did get, and I'm going to show you how to install that in a moment. Then you will be able to control the lock from wherever you are, or using Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant. Okay, let's go ahead and program some PIN codes using our app. Now this is a lot nicer than using the keypad because you can control a lot more variables within the app than you can on the door. So to get into the mode, we're going to tap PIN code at the bottom. And if you have any codes already in there, you'll see them listed. We're going to go ahead and push plus so that we can add one. And here you'll see the list of the different types of codes that you can put in. So let's start with a permanent code. And a permanent code is one that just is always going to work. So hit permanent. It's asked for the code, so let's go ahead with 1, 2, 3, 4 and done. And then we'll hit create. All right, and that accepted that, so we can give it a name. So let's say that that's father. I'm the father here. We'll click father, and then we'll hit complete. Okay, so my PIN code is now active. I use 1, 2, 3, 4. I get in, and it records that it was father who opened the door. So this gives you a little bit more information about who's coming and going and when they're coming and going. Okay, so now if you try to add your code and you get an error, like I did in this case where it says operation failed, I couldn't find anything in the documentation on this, but I think it has something to do with the lock falling asleep with the Bluetooth connection not being there. So what I did to solve that was I would come to the door, unlock the door, I'd come outside, and if I had fingerprints programmed, I'd hit it with my fingerprint, or add in my my PIN code that has already been programmed. And in any case, once I did that and I went back into the settings to try again, it worked. So give that a shot if you do get this error. That was the only thing I could figure to make it work. Okay, if at any time you want to delete one of your PIN codes, and this goes for the permanent codes or any of the other codes that we're going to add later, you can come in here, tap on the one that you want to delete, and then you'll see at the bottom of the screen it says delete. Just hit delete, and it'll ask you to confirm it, and then that is removed. And that also applies for fingerprints. So if you have a fingerprint in there that you don't want anymore, you can delete it in the same manner. Okay, next, let's talk about a recurring code. Now, a recurring code is used so that on a particular day of the week or time, then that's when that code works. So let's say you know that the housekeeper comes every Tuesday between 11 and 12. You can set that up just that way. So the first screen you're going to see is the PIN code screen. What's the code? So we're going to make this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to ask us to set the time. So I'm just going to leave it at the defaults, which is right now 13:02 to 15:02, and I want it to repeat on Tuesdays. I'll select Tuesday, and done. and create. Okay, and then again we can name that, and so I'll say, let's call that housekeeper. Done, and then complete. Okay, so that's been added to our list. So now only on at those times on Tuesdays will that particular code work. All right, next we'll go to duration. So duration is going to allow us to set a code that works only for a specific amount of time. So we'll click duration, and the first thing it wants is a pin. So I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that is a pin that we've used before, so keep that in mind for a moment. The other thing it's going to want is the start and end time and the start and end dates. So you can adjust those to correspond to whatever the duration is that you want. So you know, let's say Uncle Harry is coming next Tuesday, and you just want to set it for the 3 hours that he's going to be here in the house, then you can set those times accordingly. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use my password as 12345. I'm going to click create, and you'll notice that the screen did not advance. Well, the reason for that is that you cannot use the same pin code twice. So we've previously used 12345, so it's just going to reject it. Now it's odd because it doesn't tell you that, it just doesn't advance. So now I'll go back and I'm going to change this to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and then I'll hit done and create, and this time now it's thinking, and it gives us that check mark, meaning that it accepted it. It's good to go. So once again, we can name it. I will put in Uncle Harry, and at that point we can click done and then complete. All right, Uncle Harry has been added to the list, but you'll notice that he's grayed out. Now the reason for that is that it will only be lit up, for lack of a better word, when the time and date correspond to the time and date that that code should work. So right now we're not in that window, so it's grayed out. As soon as we hit that window, it'll pop to life and it will work. Okay, next let's talk about one-time codes. So let's tap that one. And here you'll see that it gives you the code that it's going to assign, and it tells you that it's effective. In this case, it's going to be from today, from 1 o'clock till 7 p.m. And that's it. So we'll hit complete. That code has now been added and will be good until 7 p.m. today, and that's it. All right, we're back outside because we're about to add our fingerprint to the door lock, and we need to have access to the panel to do that. So, still operating from our main screen here, we're going to choose fingerprint. And you might see a list of fingerprints already in there if you've already programmed some, like I have a few here. So if not, then you'll just see the plus, and in any case you're going to push the plus to add a new fingerprint. Alright, so now it's going to tell you that to get ready to do the fingerprinting, and that it's going to take 8 times of putting your finger on the thing. And each time you put your finger on there, you want to do it just slightly different. Maybe probably a little bit more pressure, a little bit canted, a little bit more of the tip, and so forth. That will increase the odds that when you come to get in the house, it will recognize your fingerprint. Alright, so when you're ready, hit next.
Place your finger on the reader.
And you'll hear it tell you to do it, and that's what we'll do. So we're just going to repeat this 8 times.
Place your finger on the reader. Place your finger on the. Place your finger on. Place your finger. Place your finger.
And each time I do it, just a little bit different.
Enrollment successful.
And once it's done, it'll say enrollment successful like it just did, and now that fingerprint should be added. So now it's advanced to the next screen, and it's asking you for a name, so I can put in the box here that that's Steve's fingerprint. And done. And when we're finished, we'll just push complete. And now we have added that last fingerprint there where it says Steve05. Alright, so that means I should now be able to use my thumbprint to get in.
Verification succeeded. Door unlocked.
And there I go. I'm in and ready to go. Okay, and you can add as many fingerprints as you want, up to 50. So if you want to do all 10 fingers for some reason, I actually did both thumbs because as I come and go, sometimes I'm holding something, I don't want to, I need to have a free hand, so I'll use the other thumb. So that's nice. Okay, and then likewise, if you decide you don't want that person in there anymore, you can select it, and there's a delete option in there at the bottom. You can just delete that person, and now can't get in anymore. Okay. All right, that is that. Let's now move on to Wi-Fi access. I'll show you how to do that. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about is setting up this Wi-Fi bridge. Now, there is a second way to have Wi-Fi with this lock, and that is by buying a lock with the Wi-Fi built in. I didn't do that because those locks, from my understanding, drain the batteries quite a bit faster since it's always connected to the Wi-Fi, whereas these plug into the wall and are using the wall power. So that's what we're going to talk about. You do have to have this close by your front door though, because the communication here is Bluetooth to the door. So I've got a nice outlet right here that's not too far and it's within range. So that's what we're going to do, and I'll show you that now. All right, so go ahead and log into your app and you'll be at your main screen, and your front door should be listed on the display here. So Steve's door. So we're going to add another device, and that's going to be this Wi-Fi thing here. So we're going to hit the plus up in the upper right hand corner, and now it wants us to scan it. The QR code is here on the side of the device, and so we'll just scan that, and there you go, we found it. And now it wants to make sure the device is powered on, so I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the outlet here, and we'll then click device powered on. And now it wants us to basically put it into Bluetooth recognition mode. So there's a button on the left side of the switch. We're going to push and hold that for 5 seconds. And it says it'll announce something, but I never hear it. But what I will notice is that the blue light will start flashing, and that's what you're looking for. Okay, so we have our blue light flashing. So now it says, you're going to tell it I have completed the setup. So click that box and then click next. And now it's going to try to pair the device using Bluetooth. So you do have to be close enough to the device so you can pair it. Connection succeeded. All right, now we're going to click next. All right, the device paired. So now it wants us to connect to our Wi-Fi network. So go ahead and choose your network and enter your Wi-Fi password for your house. Make sure you put the password in correctly, of course. And here we have done it. And click next. And then it will try to connect to the Wi-Fi. So here we are at 50%. And we'll see if it connects. 100%. All right, we are connected. Now I have seen where this fails. We ran through this a number of times, and I did get an error from time to time. Usually it was because I didn't have the password right. So check that. Make sure your Wi-Fi is connected. Make sure you're close enough to get a Wi-Fi single. So anyway, we succeeded here, so we'll click next. Now it wants us to name our new plug device. So they give you the choice here of Wi-Fi bridge. You can make it whatever you want, but I'll just choose the default and then hit complete. All right, now it wants to know if we want to connect it to our lock, which we do. You can skip that and say you don't want to, but then you won't be able to control it. So I'm not really sure why you would be going through this process, but anyway, it's already selected, so that's good. If it's not, you can put a check mark in there and otherwise click next. And now it's going to try to connect to that lock. So to do this, you need to be close enough to your Bluetooth. All right, there we go, connection succeeded. So it did work this time. But I did have some occasions where doing the exact same thing, sitting in the exact same spot where I did not get a connection. So I'm not really sure why. What I did in those cases was I went to the door lock and unlock function here on the app. I locked the door or unlocked the door and then came back and went through the process once more, and then it seemed to work. So I don't know why that would make a difference, other than that perhaps the Bluetooth was asleep or something like that. But that was my solution. So all right. So we did succeed, so we're good. So we'll go ahead and hit complete. Okay, so there we go. We have Steve's door and the Wi-Fi bridge. And if you want to unlock the door, you can go to tap on Steve's door, and there we go, tap that. And now actually we're locking the door at this point. And now the next thing I want to do is try this from farther away so that I'm not within Bluetooth range, and make sure that works. Let's do that. All right, so here we are outside, fairly far away from the front door, and the door is locked, as you can see, and maybe you can see. And so we're going to try to unlock the door. Now we're no longer within Bluetooth range. Let's see what happens. And there we go. And in fact, you also get a little message here that says that your door is unlocked. It says here that it's unlocked, and now in you can go. So this works out great. If somebody shows up, a friend of yours wants to stop by your house and pick something up and you're not home, you can let them in. and then when they leave, if they forget to lock the door, you'll know that it's not locked. Or you can just wait for the auto lock, of course, but you can lock it from your phone as well. All right, and again, you get that message. So you always know what the status of the door. You'll get messages to see who came and went, well, who came anyway, and that is really nice for peace of mind. All right, that is pretty much all we have for this lock. I know it's been a lot of material, 3 episodes worth, way more than I thought it was going to be. But I hope you found it helpful, at least things here and there that maybe you struggled with. So if you did, hit that like button, please subscribe, use our links. Until next time, this has been Steve for things that even I can do.